man, what's going on? Good evening, everyone. So much is happening. So much has happened. Oh man, my lord, Malcolm Jamal Warner has passed away. How y'all doing? Hey, Kandia, how you doing? What's happening? As you guys come in, make sure you hit that like button. A couple things I want to address and go over here in our live this evening. Hey, Skeeter and Mark, how you doing? How y'all doing? Y'all good? Today is a day. Malcolm Jamal Warner has died. Oh my God. Um, what's going on? I know I hit the like button. Yeah, please hit the like button. Skeeter said I was so hurt when I heard about that. Yeah. Hey Laura, how you doing? I missed you. Laura been MIA. She's like, yeah, I've been living life. Yeah, it is so much going on. Like in the span of what, 2 hours, 3 hours? I'm missing out on so much. What's, yeah, this is why I don't. Let me tell you something. When I tell you all there are over 1 billion users on YouTube, it's saying that to remind you all there's a huge world out there besides our little, I don't like to get boxed into a sector of reporting, but there's a huge world out there as well. And there's so much going on beyond, what we want to bicker about. I think the issue of the call to action is to avoid a Vegas situation where a couple was taken by another content creator. It has nothing to do with anybody's money or what they want to do with it. It's all about keeping down issues and circumstances that could lead to another Vegas shooting. But the little trivial want back and forth nonsense, child, that's stuff. Listen, here in the LLC, we're in the YouTube mansions. Leave the gutter nonsense where it belongs. It's also a reason why I don't say certain names here. It's not worth it. And now Malcolm Jamal Warner has passed away. There's more going on in life than that. I grew up having a huge crush on him. Him only. Not just him. Oh boy. Theo from the Cosby Show. Yep. My family. I know. You guys are my family here. Are you guys okay? I'm just checking on you all. Skeeter Mark, how's your son doing? See, and there are people here, in the LLC going through things too. And I have to always consider, my supporters here. God is allowing this channel to grow and prosper and do well. I don't care what anyone says about me. When you lie on me, that's another thing. But you call me names and all that other stuff, that doesn't stop content from coming out. It's not gonna stop me from being blessed here. It's not gonna stop the channel from growing. And it's not gonna stop me from finding criminal behavior to be repulsive. It is what it is. But my supporters here and just all the other things going on in the world outside of YouTube, even, is something we keep to the forefront. It's getting horrible. I'm sorry, Skeeter. Nausea, dizziness. I'm so sorry, Skeeter. Yeah, they just say it's reported that he drowned. It's so crazy. So we're praying. See, even for our own supporters here, we're praying for you, Skeeter and Mark, for your son. Um, anybody heard from um Karen? I know she lost Rusty. Anybody heard from Karen? So we have supporters here that I'm always, I always have you guys at the forefront. That's why certain things and certain responses I'm just not going to give on the main platform anymore. I'm just not going to do it. So we're still going to go into the live showing of show 3 with Nature Boy and Eligio Bishop. We're going to do that. But I just want to show this video for as a just to pay respect to Theo from Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at 54. All right, I'm gonna let this play while people come in, and you guys make sure you're hitting the like button on the way in. That includes the trolls. You guys saw my post. We're definitely growing. It's a blessing. Candia said, "This is why I stay away from the water." I had to take swimming classes in college, and I taught my boys how to swim, and still teaching them how to really be able to tread and float in the water. Just so you know, it's it's they always feel safe and secure knowing their feet can touch the bottom of something. But I'm like, what if you can't do that? You need to learn how to tread water. If you know how to tread water, then you know how to swim and tread water to where you can tread water without really, becoming physically exerted. There's a way to do it to where you can just kind of lay and give your body time and energy, you know. But if you don't know how to tread water, yeah, I don't think you can safely say you know how to swim either. So I would think he knew how to swim. It must have something must have happened. This is so weird to me. Laura said, "Please stay calm and enjoy your channel." Responding to the message, exhausting. Oh yes, it is. That's why I don't. I told you all. I have people watching. I don't care what someone says. I can clap back all day, but you would rather me holler for help. How about that? You would rather me not do anything beyond that. That's why I don't go back and forth with the nonsense, the buffoonery. I'm not doing that. Everybody have the right to support who they want to support. People have, even when it comes to politics, I always say that people have the right to vote for who they want to vote for, support who they want to support. But when your rights start to infringe upon others, that's when it becomes problematic. When your criminal activity starts to hurt and affect others, that's when there's a problem and it's time to report it. The end. So yeah. Said if I call or text him, he won't answer. He's not doing well. I would call his wife and she tells me what's going on. I can feel it though. Yeah, moms, we can feel that pain. We know when something's wrong with our children. It's that sixth sense. God gave us that sixth sense for a reason. Yeah, we know exactly what's going on. I call it the ovary globe. My ovary starts to kind of vibrate a little bit, trying to figure out, oh, okay, one of my children in trouble. Our hormones and our connection to our children are very powerful. All right. It's the sixth sense. We never lose it. I always tell my kids that. I don't care how old you all get. Mommy will always know what's going on. I will always know something's not right. I just want you to know what to do if you're in that situation. Because we'll feel it. We sit down and listen. God will wake me up out my sleep on that. Something wrong with my children. Like I just, you know. So it's just always there. It's that sixth sense we carry with us as moms. We know. Mamas always know. Oh man, Obama's cook knew how to swim and still drown. Oh, the Obama's cook? What? Oh Lord. Man. All right, let's check this video out, you guys. Put a one in the chat if you can see it here while we just wait for more people to come in.
Dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica. Joining us now, Bomani Jones, host of the Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast. and entertainment journalist Segun Odulo to share their thoughts there. And Bomani, if I could begin with you, of course it was difficult, and he spoke quite publicly about this, Malcolm Jamal Warner, when Bill Cosby was accused, later convicted of multiple cases of sexual assault. He was asked about it in a 2015 interview, and he said, he's one of my mentors, and he's been very influential, played a big role in my life as a friend and mentor. Just as it's painful to hear any woman talk about sexual assault, whether true or not, it's just as painful to watch my friend and mentor go through this. How did he handle it in the years since he left the show, just that the larger Bill Cosby controversy and scandal?
I mean, I guess you would argue that he handled it about as well as he could, because it's not like what Bill Cosby did is something that he himself could answer for. And it's got to be super tricky, not only because Cosby was kind of a vehicle for the fame and what his life ultimately became, but also because specifically the vehicle that they were attached to was so attached to the idea of wholesomeness, and that this guy is like everybody's dad. And then you find out that your dad perhaps might be a terrible person. That's a rough go for anybody. And so I noticed for all the members of that cast, for us, Bill Cosby was just kind of he's not somebody we knew in general. He's just an idea. And so for those people, you're reckoning with the person you thought you know, the person that was actually there, and the idea that happened to be a vehicle for everything that happened in your life. So it's kind of hard for me to evaluate how anybody would or would not have handled it, because it's such a particular situation.
Yeah, Shagun, this is, I mean, we all know Malcolm Jamal Warner for this role, right? But he also was so accomplished, a Grammy-winning musician.
Thank you, Lauren. I do see it and notice it. And LLC does not and has not lied. I give you all the facts and the information. I pull it up. It is something you can research and read for yourselves. And I tell you when it's my opinion, and everybody does not have to agree with my opinion. I will not implode over someone not agreeing with my opinion. That's not how we do. So that's why I don't boot out people just outright unless they're being downright degrading in the comments. I handle trolls here. So if it gets to a point where it's just like, you're being completely harassing or something like that, yeah. But no, I'm not going to let anybody cause me to implode here on this platform. People don't come here to see that, y'all. They're not. So some people have built their platforms up on, being more gossipy and messy with little things like that. But I know. Y'all know, if nothing else, I'm going to pull up some information and read. So, Candia said, I just pray he's at peace. Yeah, I mean, oh man. He has what? How many children does he have? Yeah, young children, right? He was 54 years old. He still look good too.
He had a recent podcast. He spoke out about being a Black man in society and what that meant, and that's a voice that's needed. And that portrayal that he brought was groundbreaking.
Reminds me of Anthony Allen.
Can you talk a little bit about the mark that he's leaving here? It's just incredibly sad when we think of what a young age he died at.
Yeah, the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner is horrific. And, I know Elizabeth Wagmeister and one of the entertainment reporters that you had on before, but culturally, and I think Bomani and myself can speak to this, this is like the loss of a family member in that, look, I'm the child of immigrants, and my dad is a PhD, my mom is a therapist. Malcolm Jamal Warner was the first time I saw somebody that looked like me and my brothers on television that my parents could relate to. The conversations that he would have on screen with his television dad were the same conversations about going to college and cleaning your room that I was having with my father. So his voice as a Black man on screen, and then afterwards, just the man he was, the smile, the artist, the Grammy you mentioned, he was also on Def Poetry Jam. There was an aura about him of just class and grace. And for me at my age, it's like losing a family member, because we grew up with him. Like I grew up watching this kid go through the same things that I was going through while he's on camera. And so culturally, his passing is so tremendous to our community as Black men, because he was a father himself. Like, he embodied.
Her name was Michelle Thomas, the girl that I don't know if he had children, but his fiance was the girl from Family Matters that died in the early 2000s. Skeeter, is that Michelle Thomas? Laura said we had a friend that fell in between his boat and the dock. Unfortunately, drugs involved. Oh man, that sucks. I remember the girl on Family Matters as well. Man, this is so unbelievable.
The things that maybe Bill Cosby it turned out wasn't, but Malcolm Jamal Warner was those things. He kept his life private, and so, like, again, I'm almost at a loss for words, because when I saw the news, I could not believe it. 54 is not only so young, but what he meant to me growing up, and to a great many of us, to see something like that to see us represented, is so powerful. It's definitely a tragic loss, not just for the entertainment community, but the Black community as a whole. We lost somebody that I throw it to you, Bomani. I grew up watching him and laughing, and my dad did the same thing. I brought you into this world, I'll take you out. He just did it with a Nigerian accent.
It's such a good point that he, in his life, tried to live up to that wholesome image himself, Shagun. It's such a great point. Sorry, Bomani, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the dynamic that Shagun pointed out is interesting, because my parents are both professionals. But the thing is, the Cosby Show comes out in '85. I'm 5 years old, so I don't have a recollection of the world without the Cosby Show. And so, what was revolutionary for a lot of people, for me, was much more commonplace, because of the life they showed was more similar to a life that I recognized. Now, what I always find to be interesting, and not that this was that different from many sitcoms.
What I liked, it was so realistic. And even for the household he grew up in, he had a dad that was a doctor, a mom that was a lawyer. I mean, not everyone can relate to that, but just relate to some of the issues he went through his school life, his friends at home, where they weren't spoiled. They had what they needed, but they didn't get everything they wanted either. So it made it a lot more relatable, where they weren't overly spoiled, and despite their parents having careers, they still had to do chores. They still had to look out for each other. Parents still got in their ass. Like, that's what was displayed on TV. I grew up watching that, and it was, it's what I saw and recognized for myself. This man, and he was so private. This is one of the things where those who command the attention of the room don't have to be loud and boisterous. They can just walk in the room. Him being private about his, private life is what made it more commendable. It made him, more upstanding. People looked up to him, because really, if you're a good person, you're a good person. People will just see that naturally. You don't need to say that you're telling the truth in order to tell the truth. You just tell the truth. So sometimes, being in the spotlight on every little thing is not always a good thing. And I think those who have the ability to master that art of, this is my professional life in the spotlight as an actor, an entertainer, a singer, but here's my private life. And you at least remain consistent. Not saying you're perfect, but consistent in what you're doing. That's what makes all the difference. And that's why I can't listen. I'm not going to do the whole drama on my major platform like that, because I want to take it seriously. But the next person is not going to take it as seriously as I do. And if I want it to be taken seriously, I have to present it seriously. I just, I hate that when people get some notoriety, they don't know how to carry it. But it's because this is what they were seeking all along, or they simply need help maintaining and balancing that out. And I think Malcolm Jamal Warner was kind of like that reflection. And most people, there are a few other actors that I could say were fantastic actors, and you have no idea what's going on in their personal life, because they don't talk about it. They don't just throw it out there on TV. You don't see them live streaming every 20 minutes. They just do what they have to do when they go home. One of the things I admire about Angela Bassett and her husband, Courtney B. Vance, they're the same way. I have no idea really what their children look like that. Not that I don't, say 'cause she's my favorite actress. I have no idea what her children look like. I have no idea they may have had an argument before she did a shooting for a film. You wouldn't know. That's what it's all about. Maintaining that balance. So, man, this is sad to see. And this is the role model that young black men need. Someone like, a Malcolm Jamal Warner.
While actually being a teen.
I had never seen that before. And I know people that because of what was displayed on the Cosby Show and that conversation led to conversations in their own family.
Like Anthony Anderson?
Bomani's right.
Is it just me or he reminds me of Anthony Anderson, just a little more chocolate version? And then he reminds me of the guy from A Different World. It's A Different World. It's another show he produced. A Different World with the glasses. Man. He just remind me so much of Anthony Anderson, though. I don't know why.
This was an American character because you don't be on the most successful sitcom in television at the time if it was only for one group of people. Malcolm Jamal Warner himself, away from the camera, and I know you all mentioned it, led a very private life.
Yeah.
He was kind of like the anti-star and really didn't seek the fame, but was really an artist. And the art form that he showed on television that we consumed, must-see TV Thursday night, you knew the time. Like, you sat down there. We ate dinner watching The Cosby Show. It was one of the only shows that we could watch. And like I said, for me and for my brothers, I've been on the phone with them, and we're having conversations like, I can't believe he's gone. And we're reminiscing and being reminded about shows and episodes and, the Gordon Gartrell.
He was so sweet.
When Denise made the shirt for him. There are episodes that his character went through that are so indelible and left memories for us that are never going to go away.
Yeah, I think it was dyslexia that he had. And I think of his early adventures, because it was early on in the series, with Cockroach, his friend, who was so memorable as well. Just so much warmth that he brought to that character, and so much of himself, clearly, that he brought to that character.
Oh,
Shagun Oduolowu and Bomani Jones, thank you so much to both of you. Really, really appreciate this.
Yeah, this is something else. This is something else. Kadeem Hardison. Yes. Thank you. Oh, man. Yes, he does, LLC. Yes. Kadeem Hardison. Thank you. Shout out to you, Crystal. Crystal, how you doing? Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button coming in. This is something else. Yeah, it reminds me of Anthony Anderson and Kadeem Hardison. And from the little that I heard about Anthony Anderson, it still wasn't it was like, his divorce or something like that. But nothing that would just make you think like, oh no, he should even be a free man. Like, no, it just positive uplifting, men that had just a positive influence on life. Oh my God. New details emerge. I want to see this.
Live now from Fox. Well, this was a shocker for Cosby Show fans and fans of the star Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at the age of only 54. We are getting some new reporting from TMZ on this shocking death here of the actor that was.
I'm sorry, I didn't even ask for you all to put a 1 in the chat if you can see and hear.
Of course, so well known on The Cosby Show, but went on beyond the show there as well. So let's now bring in Brenton Quirky from TMZ to break it all down for us and the latest updates from this really sad story.
Yes, obviously so heartbreaking. Such a tragedy here in the office. So many Cosby Show.
Have a good day at work, Skeeter. Be safe.
Fans of this wonderful actor, and he had a very, very long career even after the show that he was known for. Well, just getting into the details, TMZ has learned a little bit more about what happened on Sunday morning very early. We are told by Costa Rican National Police that Malcolm had actually gone out for an early morning swim. He had gone out to the coastline. Just immediate instinct when something like this happens is to swim against it, swim back to shore. But in many cases in the past, tragedies in the past, what happens is it only carries you out further and further. And then that leads to, being tired and everything, and then drowning, of course.
Yeah, so unbelievable there. And Branson, I also was reading that.
Now this shows the power of nature. I was taught not to fight them. If you can be lucky enough that not to get caught up in that underwater current, that underwater current roll where it carries you out, and just kind of, as you can, just swim a little bit, but not too far, not to the point where you're fighting it. But you it's just no 100% proof way of just coming out of that, even with a vest. So was he wearing a vest, a life vest?
Just days ago, he had another podcast episode that was dropped, and now a lot of.
And man, let me tell you, this guy had a very long career. We're talking about a character that he's known for, Theodore Huxtable, but what he really had was a multi-decade career in Hollywood, spanning several different shows. I did a little bit of research before this, and he had about 84 credits on his resume before passing away at just 54 years old. And TMZ also obtained photo, possibly the last photo of him that we may even have ever seen on TMZ.com at the airport on July 13th coming into Costa Rica. It's just so tragic to look at that photo and think that just a week later he'd be passing away.
Yeah, definitely. You just never know when it's your time.
This is so sad, man. Just so y'all know, everyone else's problems right now is just minuscule compared to Theo. It hurts. It really does hurt. It hurts even the more when someone that it's like, why are the good ones the ones that are passing away here? The ones that people can, on a general universal level look at and say, man, that was a good guy. He was very sweet, very giving, very smart, very loving. Those are the ones we want to live forever. Ugh, sucks. All right, so yeah, I want to get into it's going on 8:00. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. I do want to get into the rise and fall of Nature Boy. We're watching show 3 on Hood Horrors. And I want to kind of show you guys some background information right quick. Oh boy, on Eligio Bishop and what he pretty much stands for. And now he's in prison for the rest of his life, I think. But it's for the rest of his life. Yeah. But Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy and Three God, is the leader of Carbon Nation, which authorities characterize as a S cult. Bishop has been accused of R-word, false imprisonment, and charges related to revenge porn. He was arrested in April 2022 and remains in DeKalb County Jail without bond. Bishop is facing charges of R-word, false imprisonment, and prohibition on sexually explicit transmissions. So, he was sentenced. I think he is serving life. Well, he has a lot of years. He's gonna be in there for a while. He was found guilty on March 1st on all counts, including it was let me share this tab here so you all can see what I'm seeing. So this is him. This is the cult leader. Hold on. Okay. So this is the cult leader here. And he called himself a cult. I read an article in the second show on show 2 in the beginning where he said he didn't understand what a cult was, but then he said, I am a cult. So you're not going to call yourself or refer to yourself something you don't know what it is, right? Yeah, it just goes to show how stupid he was. But he was found guilty on March 1st. Was it 2024? Yeah, March 1st of 2024 of R-word, false imprisonment, and revenge charges. The verdict delivered by a Georgia jury marks a significant milestone in a case that offered a disturbing glimpse into the operations of the purported cult that he called a cult. He said, "I am a cult." That's what he said. So we're going to know what he said. Bishop, who also goes by the names Nature Boy and Three God, what's this thing winding up? Faced allegations of R-wording a former cult member attempting to escape, followed by posting explicit content online. The trial unfolded, shedding light on the cult's practices, particularly its use of social media to propagate its holistic lifestyle and teachings. So he didn't really teach anything outside of what I've heard from other cults. I mean, they tried to live on the land. They lived in tents. He went from Costa Rica to Honduras to the US, just kind of roaming the land, so to speak. And it was nothing new or innovative about his cult. It was just another S cult. That's what it came down to. He took women in like wives. He had 5-6 women that had his name tattooed on their buttock region. Like, just stuff like that. Nothing that anyone should be. First of all, cults are very dangerous. Because, when you deal with a leader that has a narcissistic personality, which is what I'm about to go over right quick, and then we're going to get into the video. One thing they don't like is rejection. Cult leaders don't like rejection. Narcissists don't like rejection. And you add those two together, you're dealing with, a narcissistic personality that is a cult leader that can't handle rejection. So the idea or aspect of people being able to willfully leave without retribution, without retaliation, it becomes almost damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. And they had tattoos on their behinds. Seriously. It's like 6-7 of them. As we go through these series, you all will see. He made all his alleged wives get his name tattooed on their butts, on the buttock. Disgusting. So this was real. So I want you all to see what the cult of personality is defined to be. Is a cult of personality or a cult leader is the result of an effort which is made to create an idolized and heroic image of an admirable leader, often through unquestioning flattery and praise. Historically, it has been developed through techniques such as manipulation of the mass media, the dissemination of propaganda, the staging of spectacles, like, certain events or shows or just things that's like kind of putting on the show. The manipulation of the arts, the instilling of patriotism, and government organized demonstrations and rallies. A cult of personality is similar to apotheosis, except that it is established through the use of modern social engineering techniques. It is usually established by the state or the party in one party states and dominant party states. So, from basically the concept of it is you got this undying, unwavering, adoration and praise and support, and the idea of questioning anything beyond that all of a sudden makes you an enemy or an op, or however you want to see it now. Cults have been around for centuries. It's nothing new, and the worst of them are the ones that induces the most fear and terror, and where they show just a lack of remorse and there's no restraint with what they are willing to do. So if it comes down to we got to take some lives, that's what made Jim Jones' cult so dangerous. And he took them out of the country. So a lot of the protections and the rights that we have here in the US, the people from Jim Jones' cult in Jonestown out there in a whole nother country, they didn't have that. Then they were kind of isolated, off the grid, so to speak. And when he decided, it was the day where he just couldn't get past anything else in his mind. He took over 400 people with him. A good third of them, 2/3 of them were children and babies. They didn't even have a chance to make a choice. So cults take away your free will. They take away your free speech. They take away those things that make you human. And if they're willing to do anything to keep themselves from being exposed, oftentimes the leader, that increases the level of danger. Taking someone's life is not something we have the right to just do. But you can imagine somebody like Jim Jones injecting cyanide in children. And for what? All because in his world, in his mind, he could not handle the idea of being rejected by the rest of society. He felt that people were invading on him. Just leave us alone. Y'all, these are things I saw in the documentary. These are things he was telling the news reporters that came out, along with the senator whose life he took. He took lives. People were just simply trying to go out to see how their loved ones were doing. You know, they're trying to make sure that loved ones are okay. He took that freedom away from those people, the ones that wanted to leave. He took it away from them. So they didn't have a chance. And they didn't get the chance to leave. And he just took their life. That's when it gets dangerous. And there are warning signs to see before it gets to that point. And if people are afraid to say something, it will continue to grow and fester and get worse and worse and worse and worse. That's the sad part. And that's the part I hope to at least enlighten and educate people on, so that you don't let that happen. People are going to have followings on social media. But if you are to the point where you're beyond reproach, and you're beyond someone telling you right from wrong, even from a legal stance, that's problematic. No one should be in fear of going outside. But if that's what you're doing with a following supporting that, that is problematic. And no one likes to be called a cult or a cult leader, but there are signs and attributes and actions and personalities that go along with it that are just standard, just like what I read. I didn't make that up. And cults have been around for centuries. So there's a lot of study and research that goes into a cult of personality and understanding the thought process and the psyche of those who sit and they kind of uplift and exalt one person to be a leader of this. And I want to pull up right quick and just kind of read. In the video I did yesterday, I read, what one of the occult person who studies cults, and he gave kind of like his definition. And I want to share that article. Hold on a second. I just want to share the article that I pulled up yesterday because I think it kind of helps. Eligio Bishop was able to say he was a cult. I mean, my goodness. He wasn't. He's a cult. But even he said, I am a cult. Like, I'm trying to find it because it was a guy that had basically worked on the David the Branch Davidians cult. And I pulled up the article yesterday. Oh man. But he worked on that investigation, and he was basically saying, the idea of these cults is not necessarily for the cult leader to sell propaganda on the cult itself and what it stands for, but it's more so on the messenger and what the messenger is saying. And this came from, and I'm, in the second video I did show two, you guys can go to the beginning of that and I pull up the article on that. This is coming from someone that studied cults and studied the psychology of cult leaders and also helped with the investigation from David Koresh and the Branch Davidians. Did I say that right? David Koresh and Branch Davidians. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, how you doing? Hey, Sonia, how you? Trigger warning. Thank you so much, Laura. My Ace here. I appreciate you all. And to my mods, I appreciate you guys for being here. Tuning in. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Hello. Everybody saying hello to everybody. I'm at work. I won't be commenting much, but I'm here. Thank you, Sonya. It's all good. Hey, Saint, how you doing? I made it. I know. Oh my God, tattoos. Yes. His name tattooed on their buttock. It was so gross. You guys will see it's later on in the series, but yes. The only negative press I've ever heard of him was his breakup with Regina King. For Theo, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I didn't even know he dated Regina King. But I mean, that goes to show. I mean, he was very private. That's how it should be. Being charismatic and preying on people with low IQ. Yeah, unfortunately. Look how bad it has gotten since the Branch Davidian. Yes, Branch Davidians. That's what that's what I was referred to. It was a man that had worked on that case, and that's what he said. I mean, people are not necessarily buying into the cult itself or propaganda or information in the cult itself. It's more so the messenger of the cult, and that becomes the cult leader. So the allegiance is not to the cult or the concept of the cult. The allegiance is to the leader. So I want you all to keep that in mind as we go through this video. The allegiance is to this cult leader. Bottom line. So people are asking kind of like, well, and I think what gets most people is, why is it so hard for people to leave a cult? But I mean, it's a mindset. It's a mindset reset that has to occur. We call it brainwashing, but you got to remember, these are people who have shifted their mindset to things to only think in one singular focus. And they don't really challenge or question anything beyond that. They believe what the person tells them. They believe what the cult leader tells them. And they don't question it. You can show all the evidence in the world. That's why I say I don't make my videos for cult members. Because they're not going to understand right now. It's literally going to take them to come out of that box and to say, you know what, I'm going to do some reading for myself. Because something is going on here. And they finally have that moment of realization. And then they understand, okay, there's a lot happening and that's wrong. But when people do come out of it, don't keep pulling them back in it and trying to remind them of their past. Only the devil does that. Wants you to sit and stew on your past. When they come out of it, then don't blame them for being in it. Don't blame them for supporting the person. And they say, I'm not supporting this person anymore. I regret meeting them. Don't keep trying to pull them back in and connect them to it. That's the dumbest thing ever. You're like, you know what? You've learned. You came out of this. Now you understand. And that's it. Nothing to harp on. Keep living. That does nothing to help that person recover. Some people may have some psychological or mental, disturbances here. If you're giving money, if you're giving your time, your service, it's going to be a hard disconnect. But you got to let people come out of it the way they can to where they don't want to go back. But pointing the finger and blaming and all of that, and some of the issues that the cult members had with Eligio Bishop and Carbon Nation, they were ridiculed so much that most times they went back. They would be in and out at least twice before they finally decided to leave permanently. So it doesn't help to ridicule the people who are saying, I'm no longer supporting this person. I don't have to. I don't owe them anything. I don't have to give them my money. I owe them nothing. They're not God. They didn't die on a cross for me. I owe them nothing. I owe them nothing. I owe them nothing. Amen to that. But it takes a minute for some people to get to that point. But once they get there, don't make them feel guilty about it. Or you're pushing them right back. It's counterproductive. So, all right, y'all ready? Finna get to the show.
Previously
Put a 1 in the chat if you can see it here.
on the rise and fall of Nature Boy and Carbonation.
I think we can all imagine the anguish trying to find someone you love so much who vanished inside a cult.
Questions remain, including why so many people would leave their families to join that cult in the first place.
They seem to think or feel that they're on a kind of retreat and they're putting up tents and they seem to be so filled with celebration. What you think is community, what you think is love, is a disguise for something much darker.
The world sees is this little white girl that is being held captured by this angry cult leader black man. OMG. I'm dead.
Not too long before Kayla arrived, a 23-year-old man named Logan Leathers had joined. Nature Boy would later name him Tron.
I come from Maine. I come from an area where there's no black people. You see what I'm saying? I was raised by, completely just, a white family. I was adopted and was adopted from Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland is where I portaled in from. I'm pretty sure that my Babylon mom was in jail because I was born in the police station.
Tron would later speak on the tension the group was facing at the time Kayla joined.
When she came from Canada, this is where it brought this is where a lot of the following came from. Because now you have the entire, and whoever her family is big, you know what I'm saying? Because when she came through, they were on us like, flies on.
Ultimately, the negative coverage would become too overwhelming for Melanation. Nature Boy would make the decision to cut ties with Kayla.
We had a meeting and
just a heads up. Okay, so this is by this point the third time that they've changed the name of this cult, and then they're gonna change it again to Carbonation. At this point, it's still called Melanation. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Hood Horrors. Is a fantastic content creator. He has a whole series on these videos. He has a playlist. So if you guys can, it's 36 episodes, I think 37 that he has. So I'm going to share his channel. Please make sure you go and check out at the very least the first two if you want to follow along with me here in the LLC. But if you want to just watch them all and then we can just enjoy the dialogue and commentary, that's even better. But this content creator created this fantastic series and a whole playlist, and I have the playlist saved just because I'm enjoying the content, and of course seeing and reading about these cult leaders right now is just kind of, it's befitting to the other reportings I've been doing, and it keeps you on your toes, helps you to understand what you're really dealing with. And if it's not necessarily a cult, but you still look at the cult of personality that might be similar, to be able to recognize, what to steer clear from here. So a lot of things, a lot of statements, a lot of actions, are going to become more and more familiar as we go through the series. So shout out to Hood Horrors.
Nature Boy had decided that I should head back because of all the hype.
After the meeting, Nature Boy would post a video alongside Kayla.
Yeah, they camping out.
She told everyone she was headed back to Canada.
Yeah, I'm going back to Canada mainly because
her family was looking for her.
Safety of us. I don't want anybody getting hurt because I'm here. So I'm gonna go back there for now until I get things straightened out.
So why did you leave in the first place?
We can't own.
Why did you leave why don't you tell them why you left in the first place? Did I call you like, hey, come join us, be here with us? Am I controlling?
This is a cult leader, by the way.
I was gonna leave Canada even before I found Nature.
The attention around Kayla leaving Canada to join Melanation was huge.
So that's where a lot of the things, that's where BBC came in, you know what I'm saying? BBC did a whole documentary.
If Nature Boy is not done talking or done doing this, then we don't go to sleep. They see him as like their master teacher. You don't disrespect the master teacher.
Is it a cult?
It is.
You get caught in the attachment, the emotion. So I literally gave my money to him.
How much money did you give?
Well, I just gave him my debit card.
The people that you see talking about me online, I spent my money taking care of them. I took my money.
No, he didn't. He literally just had someone say, I gave him my debit card. And in show number 2, there was a boy that gave him $40,000. He didn't have any money taking care of them. And you guys see they're living in tents. Laura made a good point. See, camping is fun until the food runs out. It's a good point. But no. He had money pouring into this cult that others are calling a cult. That he himself called a cult. So.
My money that was given to me by Key, about $300,000.
Within 6 months of living in Costa Rica, Key had given Nature Boy his entire inheritance, which equaled to more than $300,000.
Wow.
And Nature Boy spent all of it.
Woo!
Key.
$300,000.
How much money did I spend?
300,000.
Wow.
300,000. Like that.
300,000.
I gave $300,000 plus.
Y'all see this?
I'm not gonna say the plus number. I'm just leave it at plus.
I got the $300,000. It's all gone now.
I'm gonna tell the truth about it. You use your.
What did he spend it on? Is the question. How did you spend $300,000? Does that sound familiar to you all?
Your wizardry, like you know how, and you cast your spells. Of course, Key is young. He gave you $20,000. You spent that up. You asked for 30.
Give me $100,000.
And you pissed his money off away. You made every purchase. You said buy this, buy that, buy that.
So why I gave $300,000? Yo, it was crazy. It was like nobody else was like diligently like telling people to move out of the country, you know, inspiring people, motivating people, providing all this knowledge, providing all this wisdom, you know, like it's like, damn, you know, I wanted to be a part of that, my nigga. Like, and I looked up to him and I was following him for a while, and I started applying the knowledge to my life. That was my hero, bro. I learned about diet. He enlightened me on the epigenetics, you know what I'm saying? He put me on to astrology, learning myself, studying myself, you know what I'm saying? And then he was starting a movement with that. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to support that. I wanted to support the man that's making a movement. I want to support that movement that changed my life. Yes, all the money I had, I want to support that. I felt that in my heart, like it was the right thing to do. Like I was doing the right thing.
Oh my God.
So no, I don't regret none of that money that that was given or that was
exactly spent. Hey, Ralph Morris.
I don't.
It would be around this time that Phoenix would part ways with Nature Boy and Melanation.
Oh my God, what's
after
up?
Nature Boy started flirting with his girlfriend behind his back.
He was doing things with
Colts is what's up. It's a coat. This man gave him $300,000. You're right. It's like he could have made so many investments. It's not even funny. That money should have been making money itself, like just on the interest. Ralph Morris said, "What's up, y'all?" Didn't spend it on haircuts and child support. Yes, by the way, he had 2 children at this point that he completely left in the United States of America. So he can't say he couldn't afford child support. But he didn't. Did he support the kids is the question. He said, I spent all that money. God knows on what. And it was not his money. Let me remind you all, this is $300K that came from his supporter. Not his money. Another supporter gave him a debit card that you all saw. Just heard and saw. And then another supporter gave him $40,000 from show number 2 that I have. You can't make this up.
You know, the women over here, and you know, Phoenix has his girl, and you know, this dude Nature Boy was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, trying to hit all his girls. So it became more of a thing where this dude Nature Boy is dealing with a lot of sex forces. They got in a fight.
Oh my God.
The dude got in a fight with this dude, not actual physical fight, but argument.
Melanation would continue on their journey, and some new members would join along the way. One of those people would be a young woman named Stephanie from West Virginia. Nature Boy would first name her Fury, but later change her name to Serenity. She will become one of Nature Boy's wives.
Yes, it has happened. I quit my job. I didn't even give him a 2 weeks notice. I ended up finding a video by Nature Boy TV. I just continued to watch him and follow him. And before I knew it, this life that I lived was a lie. We should not be in this environment that we're in, and I will say United States. So I quit my job because I found my purpose. My purpose is to leave Babylon, go to Costa Rica, go back to nature, go to the jungle, and live this life and spread this message.
Today we want to introduce Nature Girl Theory.
Not long after Serenity's arrival, Yaya decided to leave. She'd been struggling with polygamy since she first joined. Although she did participate, her heart wasn't in it.
To me, men are using polygamy as a way to get what they want. You know, I don't see how it benefit me.
But polygamy was only one of the reasons she would finally leave. Behind the scenes, Nature Boy had started to become abusive.
It was a lot of verbal and mental abuse.
But when the abuse started to become physical, Yaya wanted no parts of melanation anymore. The last time things got physical, BP witnessed it.
He slapped her up and punched her a couple of times, and then he told her to go in the tent and give him oral sex.
Oh God, y'all, abuse is abuse. Let me help you understand something. Abuse is abuse. I don't care if it's verbal, physical, actual. It's abuse. No one has the right to abuse you in any manner because you don't agree with what the hell they're saying. You don't have to. That is the beauty of free will. And there are just certain things that it's just, if you have to sit here and harass and stalk people and hunt them down because they're not agreeing with you, you have the problem. Not the one that's deciding to think for themselves. This is insane. So I just, he punched her and then made her perform acts on her in a tent.
So that was the breaking point for me.
BP and Yaya would both leave together. Yaya would go back to her hometown of New Orleans, and BP would go back to Georgia. It wouldn't be long before Nature Boy would have another wife join. He would name her Pocahontas.
Look at my beautiful queen.
Although Nature Boy was unwavering when it came to all of his wives agreeing with polygamy, it was strongly discouraged for any of them to have kids.
You couldn't have children as a woman. If you had a child, it was a curse from God. It was your karma.
In melanation, he believed that the black woman was God, the archetype, and that when you are of a high frequency, when you're God, there's no need to procreate.
So on this frequency, right, if we're not supposed to be reproducing, because he said we're not supposed to be.
See, here's the thing. He already had 2 kids he left in the United States of America that he obviously was not seeing or spending time with. He had 2 biological children at this point already. Maybe 3, but definitely 2. And he would not allow other people to come in if they had children of their own. He would tell these people, you want to come to my cult, you can't bring your kids with you.
Reproducing, then still, why do we need all these wives? Why? I don't understand it.
Despite Nature Boy's strong opposition to women in the group having kids, Pocahontas would get pregnant by him just a few months after joining.
And when she got pregnant, he was like, all magically like, oh, we need to have kids, and then he started pushing that. So like certain things just started changing over time.
It was around this time that Nature Boy would have the internet in a frenzy for a statement he made regarding his son.
You know why I don't let kids around me, other people kids around me? Because the way I am. See me, I like to be naked. Let me tell you a little something about Nature Boy. See me, I'm a real human. See my kids, when I see my son, this is how I treat my son. We naked together.
Oh
my son started being ashamed of his body. And I seen it happen. I didn't want that to happen. They made him ashamed of his body. They showed him that he was naked. I did not want him to know he was naked. I said, son, look here. I didn't even want him to be in a world where he knew he was naked. I wanted my son to be so pure that he never knew he was naked. I take bath with my kids. I'm naked with my kids. I have sex and be ashamed and cover they
I had to cut this for that. I'm sorry.
You can think in your mind, if I let another kid
I tell you what he said. He has S word with the mothers in front of his kids while they're feeding on, breast milk. And then he lets them watch He lets the kids watch. Mind you, his first 2 kids weren't even there. So I don't know where he got this from. They weren't there. So had to fast forward that.
Here, I'm gonna have to change the way I am so that your kid could be comfortable around me. No, I'm gonna be naked as fuck in front of your kids. My son comes up and grabs my penis.
Yeah, he talks about that.
After I let that happen.
Yeah, I had to fast forward all that.
Not long after posting his,
he lets his kids grab and then explore him. It's so fucking disgusting. It's disgusting.
Video. Nature Boy and Melanation would get arrested in Costa Rica.
You basically, when you're in a foreign country and you have a vehicle that comes from another country, you have to get a certain kind of certificate to be able to say, okay, this is we had Honduras plates. This is a Honduras vehicle. You guys got to pay a certain amount of money, for liability insurance, since it's a car from another country. There's a certain kind of way that they handle it. It's this third world. It's not like America. It's not the same. So our car gets impounded. We're in Cojita. We're in Costa Rica, Cojita. And we were just on a little, going over there just for a little excursion. We go over there. Our car ends up getting impounded because they have stops, where they stop you. They want to know who you are. You're traveling this, that, and the third. And then they're like, who's got, how many of y'all got stamps? So they said, oh, you guys don't have stamps either? Car's not ready. Both of y'all coming with us. We're taking y'all to immigration. We're going to take the car to the impound. Y'all going to have to get that with paperwork. They did this. They booked this in.
Costa Rican police had them shuttled by bus to immigration. Once at the facility, Nature Boy advised the group to defy immigration officials and not get off the bus.
We are right now in the immigration van.
When does the cult leader decide that he just gets to be beyond the law? You see this character right here? This is the cult leader, looking like the demon he is. Now deciding to just break laws. And none of them questioned him on that. They didn't say, why are we having to do it this way? Why can't we just follow the law? It's because it's all about praising the messenger. You're not buying into the message or the concept of the cult. It's the messenger from whom it's coming from. And now you see this. Now you see this happening.
And Costa Rica, Limon, Costa Rica. You feel what I'm saying? The whole Melanation is in here. We're not getting out of this van right now. I need you to share this video with everybody. You understand? We was pulled over. We came here to live as human beings, free of the corporations that they set out called countries. We're not going for none of that. We staying in this van right here. And I want y'all to know right now that at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. We got to make some change right now. I don't belong to a corporation. I don't belong to Costa Rica. I don't know what you're talking about when you talk about America. I don't know what you're talking about when you talk about none of that. I belong to the earth. We are human beings. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. They're going to come get me right now, bro.
You see that for sure? So he knew that he was breaking the law. He anticipated them coming to get him. But then, lets it happen and then wants to decry victimization. Whereas they should have been telling him, we're not aiding you breaking the law. If they beat your ass, that's just exactly what's going to happen. You're going to jail. We're not bailing you out. You choosing to break the law right here on camera.
Get out the bag. Get out the fucking house.
Never mind, he broke the law though.
We are in jail. We go to trial, but we will be free very soon. Keep our men in your prayers. See, they are down there.
Hey! Are y'all awake? Y'all on camera, say something. Let them know you're okay.
The camera's still working though.
They may have beaten us. They may have left bruises, but we will live for the truth. And I just wanted to let y'all know we are okay.
We're vibrating higher than this place is. They don't even know what type of being.
They're all in jail
right now.
The entire group will be brought to immigration court the morning after being arrested. Nature Boy would go live in the hallway while waiting to see the judge.
Man, that phone charge.
He would describe how the officers had roughed them up the night prior.
Update. They mashed us up crazy yesterday.
Snatched down my man Locks. Let him look close in the eye. Omac the ancient.
Oh my
Never
God.
got a hold on him. Niggas straight this up bad, man. Kicking us in the face, punching us in the face. You know what I mean? Right here in Costa Rica, Limon, Costa Rica.
What they do to you, baby girl?
You know what's worse? He didn't care about what they would do to his group, to his followers. All because he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He caused all of them to not only get incarcerated, a few of them get beat up. And let's not forget, they're not in the U.S. So other countries might not give a damn about you talking about some rights and a constitution. It might not even apply. They're in their own country. They're in a whole nother country. And that country's government is going to be like, listen, U.S. Constitution don't have any standing over here. But he didn't care about them. If he cared, he would not have broken the law. And he would have at least allowed them to maintain some level of independent thought. If you're going to sit here and have a whole ass coat where they can reel him in and say, we're not breaking the law either. We don't have to exist lawlessly. But nope. He didn't care about his own leaders, his own followers. By saying, I'm going to make sure you all spare my followers and just take me. No. They got this Christ-like complex, but they won't bear that cross alone. Let me just put it like that. Ask them if they're going to get on the cross and die for your sins. The answer is no.
What they do? Come over and tell them what they do to you.
I was protecting my husband. They hit me in my head, pulled my hair, tried to pull me out the window. And then when I tried to protect him,
not legally married.
They fell on top of me. The police fell on top of me because they were kicking him in the head and in the face. I was just trying to protect him, and they pulled me away. And I have a bruise. They pulled me. They dragged me from on the gravel, and I have a bruise and scratch on my behind. Yeah.
Okay, what they do to you, man?
This lady slapped me. I was choked. They tried to pull my hair out.
And they were grabbing my hair. Unfortunately, they didn't grab me in my lock. They grabbed my hair, trying to drag me over the seat. I had one guy trying to bring my pinky all the way back to my knuckles.
Just a month prior to the arrest in Costa Rica, a new member had joined a group named Jose. Nature Boy would name him Mel Nino, but would later change his name to Rambo.
I'm Mexican, soy mexicano, hablo español, me llamo Jose Manuel Lopez. I was born in San Diego, California.
Mel Nino, you just got thrown around, bro. Let me see your scars. Let me see. It's all up and down your arm, yo. You can't even take your joint off.
By this time, Rambo was the only one in the group that spoke Spanish.
He was basically having me translate everything that he was saying, and it was so annoying. He was saying shit like,
it was so annoying.
Can you tell them, is it because I'm black? Is it because we're black that they're treating us this way? And I was just like, no, bro, it's because your visa expired and you're breaking the law.
Y'all hear that? He said it's so annoying. He kept telling them to translate. Is it because I'm black? No. But that's part of that victimization, right? You know, find some deflection in this. Never mind the fact that you simply failed to follow the law and procedure. He said, no, it's because your visa expired. Like it's always something beyond, you know, so that the cult leader ends up getting back this sympathy and this empathy. Oh, woe is me. Oh no. It must be because I'm black. No, it's not. Because you broke the law and your visa expired. Oh no, you should ask them again, is it because I'm black? Like, get out of here.
Black that they're treating us this way. And I was just like, no, bro, it's because your
visa it's so annoying. Hold on, look at
that. Group that spoke Spanish.
He was basically having me translate everything that he was saying, and it was so annoying. He was saying shit like,
so annoying.
Can you tell them, is it because I'm black? Is it because we're black that they're treating us this way? And I was just like, no, bro, it's because your visa expired and you're breaking the law.
Right.
He just wouldn't even agree to like the most even minimal like agreement.
We're about to go down for 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks, and then they're going to try to deport us back. But listen, they hold us on some charges of resisting. It's just us sitting here. Look who's sitting here.
So we were in there for about a month, maybe less than that. It wasn't everyone. Some people did have their stamps.
A total of 11 members would initially be arrested, but only 6, including Nature Boy, would stay in immigration jail for a few weeks. Pocahontas and Rambo were 2 of the 5 people that were released. 2 members left the group as soon as they were freed. Pocahontas, Rambo, and another member stayed together at the house for weeks until Nature Boy and the others were freed as well. What the internet would later dub Wafflegate was sparked by a phone call Nature Boy made from jail to Pocahontas. When she answered the phone and handed it to Rambo, Nature Boy went crazy.
He immediately snaps. What are you handing me the phone for? I was like, well, I have to eat, babe. You know, I'm pregnant. I need to get some food. I'm trying to eat this waffle. A waffle? You know what? You gotta go. You gotta fucking go. We don't eat waffles here, Bella Nation. He's upset. He's like, yo, you're not my wife anymore. This, that, and the third. And I'm sitting here like, over a waffle?
Yeah.
Eventually, Nature Boy and the 5...
You got, listen, y'all see what he tried to kick her out the house for, and he got her pregnant. And he kicked her out because she wanted to give the phone to someone else because he calling a crime from jail that he put himself in because she needed to eat a waffle. Like, that's the Wafflegate of it all. What's going on, Enrique? Happy belated birthday. You told me the date was not the same day as, I'm sorry. What was the date of your birthday? Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, buddy. Enrique said, as long as there is weak-minded people with low self-esteem, there will always be people to take advantage of them. It's easier now with the internet. Exactly. And I mean, this is how you end up with this cult-like mentality until the cult leader, it's like they don't see their true colors until the true colors are showed on that person. And that sometimes is unfortunately what has to happen. It's like you got to see the cult leader's true colors, you know, the hard way. It's not that you want to learn the hard way, but it may end up coming down the pipeline like that. But don't sit here and bash them when they decide, I'm getting the hell out this stupid ass cult. People just have to come out as they come out of it. And the whole point is, okay, we want to make sure you don't fall back victim to this anymore. Let me not kick your self-esteem any lower. Your ego is already gone. No, let me not kick you in the behind while you're already trying to recover from this. Let's support them and make sure that they understand. Listen, we understand you were captivated by this person. We get it. I think we've all been there somewhat. Some people knew ahead. Some people had to learn. A couple of people, like myself, tried to remain neutral. Like, I wanted to support it. You know, I just wanted to support those I wanted to support. But it got to a point where it just, you coming for me. You got the right one today. That's how it came down. But yet and still, there are some who get brainwashed and they need to be able to come out into safety, not come out into ridicule. Unfortunately. So some of them do choose to be diehard and they don't care even if they know better. But some of them truly are innocent and they're just being flat out taken advantage of. So my heart goes out to those. Those are the ones that are just, might not know any better. Like when people try to defraud the elderly and take advantage of the elderly. Like, it was the 15th. Happy belated birthday. So Rambo, El Nino, and Pocahontas go to, Costa Rica. Yeah, that's the best leading opening of a joke. So Rambo, El Nino, and Pocahontas walked into a bar. All right, let's finish this out.
5 others were released and given plane tickets to leave Costa Rica and head back to the States. Nature Boy would again go viral when him and the group were kicked off a Spirit Airlines flight.
He said we can't get on the plane because we stink, yo.
Because they stink. They didn't take showers.
They said we stink, but they had us locked up all this time. And they said we stink. We definitely don't stink. We don't eat anything that stinks.
No, your body odor stinks.
We may look like we stink, but...
He said we haven't eaten anything that stinks. You see how stupid that sounds? No, it's called use soap and water. He thinks that he should not stink because he didn't eat anything that stinks. Can y'all believe that?
We don't eat anything that stinks, man. Nobody stinks. We need a lawyer. We need to
dumb cult leader.
Lawsuit has to be done about this. It's crazy. Like, we don't stink.
After being denied the flight on Spirit Airlines,
Good grief.
the group would be allowed on an American Airlines flight the following day.
They brought us back from Costa Rica to the United States to show that we could show you physically how much we don't even have our own freedom.
They would land in Florida, and Nature Boy would go live soon after landing.
Of course he does. Because soap.
They doused us down in alcohol. And America's embassy let them do it. They stood us up, shaved our faces, just so we can get on a plane, and doused us down with alcohol. Humiliated us. And told us that we stunk.
Nature Boy would give his first solo interview with Sonetta TV days later.
You got the floor, my brother. Let's talk to the
Yes,
people.
I did it. Yeah.
It's amazing to be on the show again, man. Originally I came on your show with Brother Pharaoh.
They don't know that. The people don't know that.
It's funny on the show. I was saying, let's go to Africa.
How about we go home and eat our food from the ground where it's most live?
Shortly after that show, I wind up actually, after the show with you, I wind up actually moving out to Central America. I didn't go to Africa. I went to Central America. A couple of guys came with me. I lived in Honduras for about a couple months, six months.
So why you choose Costa Rica? Why Costa Rica?
Well, I originally chose Costa Rica because it was the most eco-friendly country, one of the most eco-friendly countries in the world, meaning that they care about nature there. And we lived there for a year and a half.
Take me back to the bus stop. On the bus, how did that all go down, brother?
They got kicked out of Costa Rica.
That day, they had impounded our van. They made that van. They manufactured that van. That van has a VIN number, and that van it belongs to them. Then they wanted to.
Thank you, Laura. I just want to take time out to give a shout out to Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch products are sold here. They will be tagged as products on the video in the description. Please buy lots and lots of Dr. Squatch soap. And do not go to Costa Rica to live a year and a half and never take a bath. You will not be permitted to fly on a plane. Dr. Squatch, the soap for you. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Pound us, which showed that we're basically some kind of property or some kind of cattle or some kind of and they wanted to know our numbers so they could see where our VIN number was so that they can ship us back to where our owner was. And we wasn't happy. So they deported us. When they deported us, that's fine. We're still going back.
Okay, so now leading up to letting y'all go, they let you go. Then they say, no, we're not letting you on the plane. Y'all stinking.
Yeah, number one is the offensive smell.
So obviously it wasn't us as a group. They were signaling out everybody else except me.
Because black people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, that was just letting us know that.
You're right, Gundia. They should have definitely used Dr. Squatch soap.
The kind of property we are. Okay, we are to them that we are property of the United States, but what kind of property? Well, we're the slaves. We're the lowest scum of the United States. So we can do whatever we want with them. People were making fun of us online. Look at them. They look like they stink. I seen people online. I seen a world star.
His kids, he just left them in the U.S. with their mothers. He had 2 kids by 2 different women at this point, and another one was pregnant. So, I mean, he left them, the first 2 he had, I think they were both boys. He left them in the U.S. with their moms. So, as you can see, he didn't have his children with him. Seems like he didn't even talk to them or try to see them or anything for a year and a half, living out in the wild, not taking a bath. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they definitely needed Dr. Squatch soaps.
I seen the media takeout. They said, you can see people in there talking about we stink. We look like we stink. What black people look like we stink?
Over the next couple of weeks after the interview, Nature Boy and the group would travel throughout the United States, staying in different Airbnbs and different people's homes along the way.
Detroit, Miami, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia.
The controversial remarks Nature Boy had made about his son prior to being deported from Costa Rica was still causing a stir online, and young Pharaoh was leading the charge.
I did want to speak about Nature.
The kid he said he was being new with it was speaking of his own son. He was saying, theoretically, because his son wasn't there, but he was saying, when he came to his kids, he wants to be able to be naked with him and let his kids bond with him or whatever and all this stuff, which it's very illegal. I don't know why you want your own kids to do any of that or any child to do that to you. But that was his so-called perverted way of trying to say, I don't want other people's kids here because I can't do what I want to do because someone else's child here. And then they're going to cry, oh, you're being foul with my child and da-da-da. But he thinks he can do that with his own. And the answer is still no, cult leader. The answer is still no. But see, this is how cult leaders, they try to twist everything up just to get what they want. And they think that what they want and their viewpoint is the only way to go. So you don't see it as wrong when it comes to your kids, but you would see it as wrong with someone else's kids, which is why you don't want other people to bring their children. You see how effed up and hypocritical that is? Hypocrisy on steroids. Children are children. What in the world would make it okay for you to sit here and do all this nonsense, nasty, egregious stuff in front of your children or anyone else's child? What makes it more right? Just because he thinks that no one can tell him what to do with his kids doesn't mean that he gets to violate the law and their innocence in the same time. It's so crazy. Hopefully in the USA with their mom. They were in the US with their mom. Yep. I truly hope he never let his kids do the other things he claimed he would. I hope so. I hope not. His baby mama passed away, didn't she? I'm not sure. I mean, how many does he have? It's like 5 or 6 of them. If she did, if it said in this, I definitely missed it. I've seen all of the episodes at least once, but me watching it with you all is definitely being able to watch it again. But I've seen all of them once, but I didn't hear anything about her passing away. A baby passed away, but not the mother. But unless, one has passed away recently, I'm not quite sure. Let me know though.
Boy and that whole thing. Because people are saying that he's a pedophile. What is it that we're using to say that he's a pedophile?
What did he say out of his mouth?
After he got done having sex with this woman at the time, he let his son play with his penis. If you say, I let my son play with my penis, that's not no accident shit.
He recanted that statement.
No, he didn't.
That's not what I meant by that.
So if you say that he recanted that statement, that don't mean he recanted that action.
Right.
When that boy touched his penis, that's also pedophilia. There's a mental, there's a psychological, there's so much that's involved with that, because now what do you think that boy is going to think about when he's around other boys? That it's okay to touch their penis too. So he is a pedophile.
It's a pedophilia.
That his son seen his penis. He said his son played with his penis. He said his son saw him having sex.
And then he said, I let it happen.
Would you want any male, you understand, father or not, to play with your son's penis? So let's reverse it.
So can your son play with another man's penis?
No, absolutely not.
He said out his mouth that children get molested, but it's for a good reason.
Oh my God! I forgot he said that. That's so gross.
For a good reason.
This is what this cult leader said.
Your question?
Nature Boy and the group will continue to travel to the United States. And
those are words and thoughts and actions of that cult leader who is absolutely disgusting and deplorable and just soulless and evil in every way, and is now in prison for the rest of his life. Lord, we thank you.
At some point, they stopped in Ohio. They would stay a few days on the school campus where Mike Brown was the president. Nature Boy would go live on Instagram from the campus with a message for his followers that many would consider odd.
Go get some help, man. I got women hitting me like, don't ever fucking talk to me. I'm like, the fuck? They joined the bandwagon? Like, you really? Whatever.
Have y'all heard that before? Joined the bandwagon? Have you heard cult leader in the past say they must have joined the bandwagon? No, it's by definition of terms. Are you kidding? This is people who want to live lawless. They don't want to somehow be restricted down to what the law says, or just decency and morality, ethics and integrity here. They're not even thinking about the children or the impact of the children on what they're doing to them or anyone else. Jump in the bandwagon because we chose to read definitions of terms. Okay.
Okay. Like, that shit, well, you ain't nobody that I want to fuck with anyway if you gonna fucking believe that shit. Even if you do find a real pedophile, you find a criminal, have mercy. Don't let that hate consume you. Only God gonna judge.
This is not hate. This is following the law and not inflicting your will on others and hurting others. Period. See how cult leaders talk? I want you all to understand this. Listen to what he's saying. No. You should have mercy on those who are P words and practice that. And they do that. Have mercy on them. Because he knows deep down, I will be judged for doing the same. So they try to deflect accountability. Make this make sense?
Is that person? Yo, let that person let their universe deal with them, yo. That's fucked up, and that ain't something I get into, but that's fucked up. But I ain't gonna go over here and consume hate in my heart to the point where I'm gonna go touch that person or want to hurt that person or create a voodoo doll.
Although Nature Boy and Pocahontas were still at odds over the waffle situation, she felt obligated to get online and defend him against the negative attention.
As most of you all know, I am Pocahontas Lavi. I am Nature Boy, Master Teacher Nature Boy's direct. And I've just sat idly by and watched the allegations. And I did nothing. I received a lot of messages in my inbox, and a lot of you all were saying that, I only noticed him until this video and until I saw the hashtags pedophile. You have to be on a very low vibration to even find someone on that frequency just because of the words pedophile. I've never searched it. I know for a fact that he has a pure heart. He has pure intentions. He's done nothing but show me myself and help.
It's not low vibration. It's called education. It's a matter of reading words and definitions of terms. Just like with hater. If these same cult leaders would read the definition of the word hate or hater, they would understand it's not necessarily the person that someone has to hate. It's the things that they're doing. And if what you're doing is in violation of the law, it's not hating you. It's about hating you violating the law. It's your actions, not the individual. See how that goes? See how reading and understanding definition of terms can bring a whole new meaning to something?
Me grow as an individual, help me grow as a being. He's greater than Martin Luther King. He's greater than Malcolm X. And what you will not do and what I will not allow you to do is defame a man of Christ's consciousness. There are no children here.
No, he said that out of his mouth.
Okay? There are no children here. None. There are no children here.
He had two others.
And the allegations are 20 billion% false.
No.
Pocahontas will receive criticism for defending Nature Boy, but she never responded to the critics.
When you're faced with some of this stuff, if you don't speak out, I'm going to look at you funny.
That dialogue and that justification and trying to find some kind of fucking excuse is why pedophilia exists inside our communities.
She is literally trying to justify this man, Nature Boy's pedophilia tendencies. Like, you can't justify this. And
yes, Ralph Morris. He was recently he was shanked in prison like 9 times. Was it this year? Wasn't it this year? Yeah. Yep. And then tried to say, I'm standing strong. But he claims to be a fighter. He beats on women, but he couldn't beat on the dudes that shanked him 9 times in prison. He dared not whoop their ass. I guess he just let that happen.
Any type of angle, man.
Regardless of the fact Pocahontas defended him over the allegations, within a week after posting that video, Nature Boy kicked her out of the group.
One thing that I do know, having studied Eligio, is that Eligio is unpredictable.
He kicked her out.
Although Nature Boy had harsh critics due to his comments, which was to be expected, he also had many people defending him. One of those people was a young man named Dalen from Baltimore, Maryland. He would post a video to YouTube that would get Nature Boy's attention.
The online community criticizing, judging Nature Boy. That man is not a pedophile. I want y'all to know that man,
someone who doesn't know him at all, or his children, or his children's mother. You see what happens when, people coming in with ignorance into the situation tries to add in their 2 cents. This isn't a matter of opinion. It's a matter of what came out of his mouth. But yet, this guy here didn't know his children, never met them, didn't know his baby's mothers, never met them, Probably didn't even know he had 2 other baby mothers. Probably didn't know much about him other than what he saw in videos. Because that's what cult leaders want to do. They want to frame reality for you. They only want you to see what they want you to see, but it's never the full picture. Never.
Has Christ consciousness. I feel that brother on everything he be saying. I feel like he's a higher version of me. And Nature Boy, I know you're gonna see this.
Oh my God.
I was gonna send you a message online, but I was afraid.
Nature Boy posted a comment on the video, and the two of them would get in touch with each other through Instagram. Dalen would join the group a week later, leaving his girlfriend and 2 small children behind.
Wow. I have to be in line with nature, and in order to be in tune with nature, you gotta make sacrifices. You have to prove yourself.
Dalen's name would change a few times, but he would mostly be known by Musa. After Musa joined, Nature Boy and the group would eventually make their way to South Carolina, where Nature Boy would visit Maisha and Osiris. Maisha was well aware of the statements Nature Boy made, but she defended him by saying he was misunderstood. During the visit, Nature Boy asked if he could take Osiris for a few months.
Osiris is his actual natural born son. I would never let him around my child again. But as you all can see, the other guy that came in, he left his girlfriend and 2 kids. And one of them looked like a newborn baby. How could you leave your own children behind to follow behind another grown man that talks about doing this to kids? It just, the brainwash effect on this is just, woo, child.
Before he came to visit, it was always talk about Osiris going to, visit with him.
Maisha wasn't sure if it was a good idea, but after giving it some thought, she agreed.
I met everybody. I let them know, what I felt, how I thought my son should be treated. And, he assured me everything would be okay. So I said yes, that he could go. And I felt like if this went well, then he could continue to come visit you like, summers and, whenever he has breaks or whatever. So he leaves.
Nature Boy and the group headed to Texas, where they would rent an Airbnb while preparing to head back to Central America. This time they'd be heading to Belize. Over 1,600 miles away from Texas, in Seattle, Washington, was a 24-year-old woman named Kendra Carter.
I had just quit my job because I felt like mentally drained. I just felt like I didn't know. I just felt lost, honestly. I just felt lost.
Wow. That's it, y'all.
Previously on the rise and...
That is it. That is show 3. And that's, man, y'all, and it gets better and better and more interesting and just goes through so many twists and turns and oh my goodness gracious. But this is what happens with a cult when it's unchecked and you have one person that is so charismatic and able to captivate people by saying a bunch of things that most of these people couldn't define. Just a bunch of fluff words. He even admitted, I can talk my way out of anything. That's how he got away with, violating laws and not getting real punishment. Because he talked his way out of it. He had to get the gab. And that is, sometimes you have to kind of pay attention to that, to those who can talk their way out of things. They have, they're very verbose, but they're not saying anything of substance. I can throw out a lot of fancy words as well. I'd rather just read so you all can see that. Yes, I did know Eligio Bishop was shanked 9 times. Yeah. Yep, he was. I don't know if you guys are seeing my I'm seeing you guys comments. I don't know if I'm missing any, but make sure you guys are hitting that like button. I want to read to you all the definition of hater. A hater is defined as a person who expresses strong dislike or hostility towards something or someone. This term can refer to someone who is particularly Negative or critical, often driven by envy or resentment. In informal context, it can also describe someone who disparages others or holds grudges against specific groups or individuals. And up here, you see the definition of the word hater: a person who greatly dislikes a specified person or thing. A negative or critical person. Saying I don't like people who break the law does not mean that I hate that person. I don't like the actions of the person. Let me make sure I work it correctly. I don't like the actions of those when they are actively breaking laws. There we go. You're out here breaking laws. I don't like your actions. Because if you break laws and then think you can just talk your way out of it, how are you held accountable? It's the idea of, just not being held accountable, thinking they're above the law. And they behave lawlessly, and that's when they become more and more and more reckless and dangerous, as we will see with Eligio Bishop in these series, y'all. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets worse. No, Raph is not in jail. Raph, can you comment? Enrique, of course, that's the easy part. Raph, are you still here? Can you comment? No, I don't think he's in jail. Nobody put him on block or anything. Maybe he's just stepped away. I don't know. I'm sure he'll leave a comment in. Sounds. Thank you. There you go, Saint. There you go. And this is why we're doing these series, because that's what it sounds like. I don't have to implode. I just read. Shabu. Just read. And all they getting gets some understanding. And it's hard to understand when you lack knowledge. And there are just times where you have to look at the actions and the mentality and the words, the way that people carry themselves, to say, this is coming too familiar to me. This pattern of behavior, especially when it's a repeat pattern of behavior. When you listen to someone and I guess the overall point of what they think they're making, sometimes they start making the same point over and over and over again. They can go from city to city to city in different situations. And the whole speech pattern, it becomes the same. I have something to share with you. I'm going to tell y'all this. It's so good. I want to tell y'all everything I know. I wish you would shut up and just show the documentation. Stop saying all that. Okay, fine. We passed the point of excitement. Just show the documentation and keep stepping. Does it ever happen? So, I'm showing you all the definition of hater. Here it is. There we go. Because reading is fundamental. I don't have to make this up. There you go. So no, it's your actions of being lawless, and that is what makes these cult leaders even more dangerous. Even more dangerous. It's acts. What is going to be the consequence? And the less consequence they suffer, the more empowered they become. You should not have to abuse anyone or talk to anyone nasty to get any support for any reason. God is not going to bless the mess. He does not bless the mess, the chaos, and the confusion. God ain't in it. It's just, this information I hope you guys find to be vital and to be educational, to be informed, so that you can know what to look for. And if you have to just avoid it, avoid the person, the topic, I understand. I'm going to continue these series, but trust me, I know how to make a point without saying a name. And I think that's what people get caught up in. You ain't calling anybody out on something when you just want to remind them of their past. How is that? That's not telling a truth. That's not for you to do. But if you're going to help someone, help them. If not, then you're useless here in the Lady Luck Club. If you're not helping somebody. So I'm going to help however I can with LNC with any information he needs so that we can bring some of this stuff to an end. I don't want to see anyone else get hurt. I don't want to see anyone else get assaulted. I don't want to see any more. None of that. Life is too short. Theo Huxtable died at the age of 54. A great man like that at least for the most part carried himself well. Those are the ones you want to see live long and prosper and continue their impact on society. I don't want to see people be illegally evicted. Like, that's not something you want to see, and no one should have to deal with that. But, rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. He definitely, his presence will be missed. And what we have are the memories of the, character that he played on the Cosby Show. And hopefully people will go back and watch that and learn something from it. Learn something from him and who he was. Check out his podcast. Positive message he left here on earth and the life he led. He was very private. That's how it should be. The most powerful people in the world are the ones you don't know exist. Power doesn't come from being loud. It comes from the knowledge you have and knowing where you stand. So I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Thank you all so much for rocking with me. If you guys want to continue on with the live shows for, Eligio Bishop and the Carbonation Cult, let me know. I hope you guys had a good time in this, and it's disturbing, but these are things that happen. This is real life, right? So you guys have a good evening. I have to work tomorrow, and I appreciate all of you all for tuning in. And, yeah. Enrique say there were a lot of YouTubers we started watching. Yeah. And then it dwindles down because you start to kind of see the motive and the intent. And it's not something I can vibe with. Laura said, everyone have a great night. Please love each other. Rest in peace. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Absolutely. And you guys take care of yourselves and each other. Until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.